It can certainly be a challenging thing for modern day spirituals to maintain a high vibrational, positive attitude when we are dealing with or looking at the world at large. In fact, I've been wrestling for a couple of days now with how to really approach making this video because I think it's really important at the moment to put it out and to talk about it. With the current state of the world at large reporting on ongoing conflicts and wars, the threats to our natural environment, Mother Earth, and with most of the world governments seeming like they need adult supervision, it can be challenging as an empath or as someone who's psychically attuned not to feel emotionally involved and caught up in the things that we see going on around us. It's natural for peaceful, caring people to want to reach out and make a difference and help make a change. But it can be equally challenging to get involved and make that difference without having our energy and our vibration dragged straight down into fear, anger, frustration, and all of those sorts of feelings that we know are not helpful to us or to anyone else. Now, as far as I can tell, most of the standard advice that's out there, or at least the mantra that I see going around a lot, is to simply not look at it or to avoid thinking about it, to avoid getting engaged in any way in the things that we find upsetting or that we think need to be worked on. How's that going for you guys? I know it's been my personal experience that is, as well-meaning as I am, I feel like it's practically impossible in the modern era with so much information constantly and so much access to instant information on the internet to remain completely unaware of the state of the world and the things that are going on around us. And once we see and we are exposed to things that we know could be better, it's difficult as physically focused people to not want to contribute, take some action, or do something to improve the situation. So how can we as spiritual individuals maintain our high vibration and our positive outlook on things while being able to be engaged and make the kind of difference and have the kind of purpose that we're wanting to have in this physical experience? How do we love the world and our fellow human beings unconditionally while still working on how to make things better? We humans really can be a hot mess sometimes, can't we? And it can be difficult when we're in the middle of that hot mess to maintain a broader perspective on the point, the purpose, and the progress that we've made so far. From the perspective of our angels and guides, the way the universe sees humanity, things begin to look a little bit different. Because after all, they can see all of us at every moment, all of the time. Whereas what we see is largely what gets reported to us via the internet or the news cycles. The sensationalism and outrage culture that drives views or clicks tends to paint a pretty small and bleak picture of the world. There are 8 billion people on the planet, and the vast majority of them are kind, generous, and loving people. People who help their neighbors, love their families, and contribute positively to their communities. The news coverage is only covering that which is horrible or outrageous or devastating, because it's what people click on. That's what we think news is. Because the truth is that when everything is going fine and people are being their regular, generous, normal selves, it's not worth reporting it on the news. That's how normal and usual that is. The horror and tragedy that we get shoveled into our feeds every day is only news because it is the out of the ordinary situation, the outlier situation. And that kind of reporting, it hardly gives us a full picture of humanity at large at any given time. Humanity is super young from a broader universal perspective. Science's best guesses place our physical universe that we are used to perceiving at somewhere around 14 billion years old. Homo sapiens are really only around 300,000 years old. And civilization itself, the organization of humanity into large group structures like we have now, really only dates to around 7500 BC. In less than 10,000 years, we've gone from nomadic subsistence living to what you see today, which is pretty astonishing. No other creatures that we're aware of have the same degree of moral dilemmas, conflicts that are based on faith or ideology, technological advancements, and the multitudes of beautiful and diverse cultures that we developed. We have already come so far, and we show no signs of stopping now. As little as 500 years ago, if tragedy or barbary or cruelty happened in an area, very few people even ever found out about it, much less batted an eye at it. Today, the whole world knows about it almost instantly and is outraged by any act of unseemly violence or cruelty. It really is remarkable just how far we've come in how short a period of time. From the perspective of our angels and guides, we're doing an outstanding job of growing, progressing, changing, and evolving in the ways we interact with each other, and always ultimately towards more peaceful and better ends for everyone at large. The universe is immensely proud of us, and we should be too, by being able to recognize just how far we've actually come. That having been said, we still have quite a bit of work to do. Even though we're constantly doing that work, we seem to have a sort of collective repeat cycle happening. Things get really, really bad, enough people get really, really angry, violence erupts, and then things get better for a time before they get bad again, and people get really, really angry, and then violence erupts. It's a sort of a distinctive pattern that you can pick out looking over the course of human history. The vast majority of us believe that we need to fight against what it is we don't like. Between humanity's deeply rooted scarcity mindset and our need as physically focused humans to take aggressive action against what we don't care for, we've sort of found ourselves in the mother of all generational curses. And really that is because vibrationally, when we all focus intensely on what we don't want and fighting against what we don't want and eliminating what we don't want, really we're only attracting more of what we don't want. From a vibrational standpoint, poring over the problems that we have and focusing our attention on them or lashing out at them angrily really only adds energy and momentum to impending conflict. So how do we change the scripts? How do we break humanity's oldest generational curse? How can we as individuals contribute to ending this cycle? When I was meditating on this and working with Spirit on what are the best things that we can actually do to make a difference without contributing energetically to that which we are attempting to make a difference about, the knowing that I got had to do with not fighting against what you don't like or hate, but rather contributing positively in a way that you love and adore, in a way that helps. The best example I can come up with at the moment, and you'll have to forgive me, I'm in the US and we're in the middle of an election cycle, is rather than fighting against a candidate that you hate, that you don't want in power. That's the wrong energy. That energy is only making that more outcome more likely. But rather find a candidate that you like, that you believe in, or some way to contribute to a positive effort that feels good and empowering. Similarly, another example that came to mind about it was like, if you're super passionate about the earth and the environment, rather than lobbying against oil companies or fracking or fighting that fight against something that you don't want to see happening, find positive ways to engage with sustainability, what you do love, what you do want. And there's lots of different ways to do that, from starting your own garden, finding sustainable solutions for yourself, maybe researching and finding sustainable products and tweeting them out or putting them out on your Instagram when you find them to help promote them and put that forward. It's a completely different energy to be in. It sounds so simple, and if you think about it, the most powerful spiritual leaders that we've had all knew and understood this energetic principle. These were people who spent their lives contributing positively to the aid of others rather than fighting outwardly against something that they didn't like or thought was wrong. And I think what I'm getting is, say it good, you don't fight fire with fire, but you don't fight fire at all. You starve it of oxygen, starve it of attention, starve it of your energy. The fastest way to put out a fire, the most efficient way, is to stop giving it the fuel it needs to perpetuate. And I think that if we really stop and think about it, there are things that each one of us can do. Each one of us out there has a specific skill set, a specific passion, is something that they're good at or they truly love doing that could be used in a way that contributes positively to the solving of humanity's issues. Even if that's just sharing or retweeting or supporting positive things. I think even sharing and posting beautiful pictures of nature or videos of bumblebees feasting and doing their thing can be a way to contribute to everyone's love and appreciation of our natural environment. Or maybe that's just me talking. I like to make videos and post content, but I'm sure that you guys have a ton more interesting ways in which you can think of to contribute positively and add to the positive momentum that starves the fire of the fuel. Let me know in the comments if you have things that you do. Share your ideas with everybody else. I think it's super important. Like, subscribe, all of that fun stuff. And we're better than we think we are by far in the eyes of the universe. And we can always be better still. There's no limit to our potential as humans. We are limitless creators. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you next time.